And morphine is used on the battlefield when a soldier is seriously wounded, so they can try to stabilize a soldier to get them evacuated to the first aid station to do real trauma treatment. And this is 100 times more powerful than that.
100 Virginia young adults die annually from fentanyl overdoses.
Worst drug crisis in U.S. history.
Fentanyl. Thousands killed by fentanyl.
Two parents in Fairfax County want you to hear about the dangers of fentanyl. Sadly, they know about this firsthand, losing their only child after he overdosed on fentanyl.
It's the worst thing that can happen to parents. Kaden was our only child. I cannot even describe how I feel every day.
Well, I found Kaden on January 31st of 2023. Called me immediately after she found him.
I woke up the day at just before 7, and as I walked out my bedroom, I didn't hear any noise coming from his room. Usually I would hear music or him already talking to somebody. I went into his room to check if he was awake. When I walked into his room, I saw Kaden still laying in bed, and he looked like he was asleep. He didn't move. And it was very quiet. I saw that he had his phone on his chest. And I said, Kaden, you fell asleep with your phone. And I reached for the phone. And when I touched his hand was very cold. My first thought was, it wasn't covered, so it was just cold. But then I noticed that it was too cold, and right away I knew that something was very wrong. And I touched his shoulder and tried to wake him up, and I knew that he was gone.
That's when she called, and she said, I think Kaden died, I'm calling 911, and I couldn't process what I just heard. And she hung up, and I just got to the house as fast as I could. And with the kind of the rational thought that if I could just get there fast enough, it won't be true. There's something, maybe I can fix it.
I remember one of the, I don't know how many paramedics came, or firefighters. I remember the one walking down the stairs and looking at me and just shaking his head. They were ready to wrap up, and they asked if they could have Kaden's phone, and we said, of course, and they took off the phone cover, and in that cover, Kaden had a little sleeve where he kept his credit cards. There was a $1 bill, and when they took that $1 bill out and opened it, they found 2 blue pills. They immediately came to us and told us what they had found. And I remember not understanding what they were trying to tell me. How did this explain why my son had passed away? I didn't understand what these 2 blue pills had to do with his death.
I met Kaden in high school. It was my sophomore year. He was in my sister's grade, Sammy, and they were freshmen at the time. And we all ended up hanging out at the community pool every summer, and then that's where kind of our friendship started. And then going into my junior year, I took a psychology class, and we sat right next to each other.
It wasn't until after this happened, I think, that we really got to understand kind of the depth of a lot of the relationships he had. And it showed through the number of people who then surrounded us after this happened. Because that day, when the detective asked who can we call, our immediate thought was family. I'm from Georgia, my wife's from Germany, so we don't have any family nearby. And we looked at each other and said, nobody. There's nobody to call.
I had heard about Britney from Kaden. We had talked about Britney. I remember that she came to support us.
I remember walking into the funeral I remember talking to his parents and just being in disbelief that I had to sit at one of my best friend's funerals.
I know that she went overseas. I believe she went to Italy, and she brought Kaden back a bracelet. And we buried Kaden with her bracelet.
At the time, I remember genuinely breaking down and just crying because I am very thankful that a part of me is with him.
So I'd heard of fentanyl. I knew what it was medically. I knew about patches, and I knew about the liquid form that they would provide in IVs in the hospitals. But when they said fentanyl pills, I'm like, they don't make it in a pill. What are you talking about? That's where I first heard about these fake pills, was after it was too late for us to have educated ourselves about it. Kaden was already gone. Basically, you take it once you're addicted, and the cartels know that. And that's why they want to get it into everything. That's why they put it in fake things like Adderall and Xanax. I mean, they put it in things that people don't take to get high. They put it in things that people take because they want to study, because they've got anxiety, because they know if they get it into you through that fake delivery, they got you. And it is so potent. It changes the chemistry in your brain.
My role as a Fentanyl College Ambassador is pretty much to bring the First Lady's It Only Takes One initiative, which is fentanyl awareness, to my college campus of Longwood University.
The way we got looped into the Only Takes One initiative was through one of Caden's friends, frankly. It was his friend Sydney. Her grandmother worked for the Youngkins. And then when the Fentanyl Ambassador program started to get stood up, I mean, they immediately reached out to us, like, we want you there for the launch, and it was at JMU. We were happy to participate, because awareness is the #1 way you're gonna help address this.
I came to Longwood, I knew it would be a great thing. We have a 2-college town here, and it's important that people are aware. It's a rural area, so people sometimes overlook the importance of it here. And I think it was an important topic that needed to be discussed.
Taylor called me in the summer, said I have this idea and I'd really like to present it to the university. And I was like, yes. There was no question if it was a yes or no. It was like, yes, let's do it.
So my involvement with the fentanyl awareness event on Longwood's campus was really just to make sure that all of the collaborating partners came together.
I was able to speak on the panel with the First Lady, and that was an incredible honor. And just being able to speak to over 500 students. We had over 300 students Narcan trained, which is important. People don't understand what naloxone is, and it's a life-saving thing.
To continue to put the humanistic presence, my hope for our Longwood community, I hope that this is not simply a one-time conversation. I think this issue is so important that we have to continue to find ways to dialogue about it.
I think if students are more aware of the dangers of it, that's what can make the difference. I mean, if people take more time to think before they act on things that they just want to fit in, peer pressure, or just a simple enjoyment that might take your life from you is not worth it. I think the instant gratification of wanting to fit in and be in the party scene is totally normal, and it's a college thing that happens, but remembering that people are not always on your best interest. And I think Caden's family has done a great job of explaining that those people that were involved in his life didn't have his best interest at heart, and it showed in the impact that it had on his life.
When I was asked once, like, why do you do this? What's your motivation for doing this? Is because every time we heard another story about another kid like Kaden, it hit all fresh again. I mean, because that's what happened to our son, and it was avoidable. And every one of these deaths is avoidable. It's preventable. And knowledge and awareness of this risk is the #1 thing that can help avoid it.
I hope that the event we had is just the start?
I think people have this misconception that someone who passed away from fentanyl poisoning is a drug user or they're a drug addict, and that is not the case. It can be a one and done type of deal. One time someone takes an Adderall to study, or they think it's a painkiller because they have a backache from their sport, and that could be it. That could be the end of their life. And they've never done a drug in a day before. And in Cayden's situation, it was very similar. He wasn't a drug user. He fell into the wrong crowd of somebody who had convinced him that he would be okay, and he wanted to do it to fit in. So it's not something that should be shied away from. It's not embarrassing or something that should be stereotyped. It doesn't matter where you come from, and just one decision could end your life.
It really is a community effort. We tell kids that if you telling your friend, there's likely going to be angry, at least to begin with. But would you rather have an angry friend or a dead friend? The impact of our story, we believe, was going to be getting in front of students.
Throughout the First Lady's term, they've dropped fentanyl deaths incredibly low. In Virginia, we were one of the #1 states for an overdose before, and so now we aren't. And that's an incredible accomplishment.
I think that was just a tremendous effort on particularly on Mrs. Youngkin's part, to try to get this word out to college students who are highly at risk because of the prevalence of drugs in the colleges. And through that, trying to make people understand how risky this stuff is.
We won't stop, and no one's going to stop until people like Kaden aren't passing away from an incredible problem like fentanyl. And his family and himself and everyone who was involved in his life, and Britney and all of his friends, should never have to feel that pain from someone passing away from something that could be so preventable and avoidable.
We've really, I think, finally started to be able to try to start coming to grips with, the finality of all this. One of my most cherished memories will be the night before when this happened. I was sitting here on the couch and distinctly remember him laughing while he was playing PlayStation, and turning to my wife and just telling her how much I loved that sound. I just didn't know that was gonna be the last time I was gonna hear it.
That I love him so very much, and that I miss him. That I'm not mad at him.
Same. I just wish I could have him back.
Life's not the same without him.
I think if I could say anything to Kaden, it would genuinely be that I miss you, and I just wish I could give you one more hug.